Greetings and welcome to episode 290 of the Words About Games podcast, the weekly news, culture, and gaming podcast for Words About Games. And this week, it's actually true. We come to you every Monday on YouTube and podcast services. I'm your host, Amy K. Alexander, and I'm joined this week by the Pokemon legend himself, 10 and a half hours straight. Even I couldn't keep up with him. It's Daffy Mark Moody. How are you doing?
Well, I've recovered, if that helps.
But how many hours do you have in Pokemon now?
Oh, I've played
More than 10
a
and a
couple
half?
hours. Oh, yeah, I'd be surprised if I'm not at least almost 18 hours. Maybe almost. I would say, yeah. Yeah, and I don't even think I'm halfway through yet.
No, you did a lot of what my friend Kirsty on her Twitch channel would call faffing. Where you just run around and did stuff. And I mean, to be fair, you did spend the last hour of the stream trying to level up to get a God of War.
Yeah, and I haven't touched her ever since. That sounded wrong.
It did sound wrong.
I haven't had her in my squad ever since.
That's fine. I got to see Big Mommy Pokemon.
Big Mommy Pokemon.
I'm content.
But I have got a couple of, I haven't streamed it since, but yeah, my team's coming along pretty decently, which I'm happy about.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
How are you?
Us industry observers, Amy, just got to keep on observing.
Observing the industry.
Observing. Amy observed.
Being observant. You're being observed, industry. I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the mood for your bullshit today.
Because we're back.
Because we're back.
We are back.
I'm in a bad mood.
Yeah. That Microsoft one was just a one-off thing.
That Microsoft one was dazed and confused.
It was. It really was. It's just like Microsoft just went, meh.
What?
Just walked up to went, meh.
What the fuck?
And just walked away.
Come again? Say that?
Something like that, yeah.
How you doing?
I'm not bad. Yeah, I've had it, like I say, 10 and a half hours stream of Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Yep.
Played Among Us and Faz last night, which was a lot
was
of fun as
fun.
always.
It was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Faz was fun.
Annoyingly, neither of us were streaming it, which is even more funny.
I mean, yeah, there was some moments like the bit where we all ran through decontamination screaming.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
The moment when I literally got sandwiched by you
and me,
Amy on the left and Amy on the right. I was like, I don't know which is which.
The unfortunate joke I made seconds later. But even I went, ooh, that was a bit shit. That was a bit much. Probably a good thing we weren't streaming. No one will ever see that joke.
Yeah, true. Like, yeah, but no, it was. Yeah, I'm well. I'm not bad at all. I've got a bit of a kidney infection, it seems. I'll say that.
Dear.
Yeah, so I've got tablets. I have to take them in about an hour's time, and then you'll see me knocking back some drugs.
Just sure.
Yeah,
I do it twice a day.
But if people don't know, I have a new toy.
Another one.
I can change.
What the look on your face?
I hope I haven't just broke up your whole setup there. Definitely.
No, it's fine. It does. It's a JPEG over the top of the Discord thing, so you can do whatever you want. It's fine.
Sweet.
Just don't do it too quickly. Don't click any links.
Oh God, yeah, no links. I still don't know why Discord does that to me.
Me neither. It's a weird one.
It really is. Don't send me any, just to be on the safe side.
No, I'm not. No, I don't send you. I don't send you anything over Discord anymore.
I've learned my lesson.
Like, I tried to get this point across to like Keith when we were doing the podcast, because like sometimes when we used to record the podcast, he would send me like a link of something like relevant or something. Like, oh dear, what have I just done there?
Well, she's broken something.
I haven't broken anything. He used to send me like links while we were podcasting over Discord, and every single time I'd be like, Keith, I'm recording the screen, right? I can't check that link. I'm literally recording Discord. Oh yeah, sure, yeah, cool. And then like 2 weeks later, we'd be talking about something, and you go, I found this link, and you just drop it, and I'd be like, Keith, I still can't open that link. I can't open Discord, Keith, Messenger, Keith. Send it to me on Messenger. Keith was cool. He was a cool co-host. always brought
He was
interesting
cool.
topics. All the co-hosts I've had are cool,
Oh.
but none of them are you.
I am pretty awesome, like I won't lie.
I would say so. Yeah,
Mhm.
I would say so.
Am I the longest one? Oh, am I
I
still a little
don't
bit short
think
there?
so.
Yeah,
When was Blitzchung?
2 years ago.
um,
The end of 2019, wasn't it?
if you say so, then I don't think so because Keith was around from episode 1 to like whenever Blitzchung happened, right before Blitzchung happened.
So I've been
You
here.
joined in 20. That means you joined at the beginning of 2020.
Yeah,
The herald of the apocalypse.
I was there for Blitzchung.
Yeah, it was 4 podcasts of Blitzchung stuff. I remember because you and Patrick like alternated across them. I was like, that was accidentally the smartest thing I could have done because it meant neither one of you got burned out. Like by talking about Blizzard for 4 weeks. If only we knew what 2021 was going to be like.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, you heralded the apocalypse, I guess, and joined in 20. You must have joined at the beginning of 2020, though.
I'll accept that.
And then everything went to shit. Not the podcast. The podcast was great. I mean, the world went to shit. The world around the podcast.
The world went crazy.
What the hell? I'm doing a new aesthetic today. A lot of people have been talking about my goth aesthetic, and I was like, I want to mix it up. I'm gonna mix it up with some pink. I can do pink.
Fair.
See.
You can. You look good. You look great.
Not just all goth. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the goth aesthetic.
Bugsy.
Buzzy. We named Buzzy on Twitch. Yeah,
Buzzy.
shit. We didn't tell anyone on YouTube because it happened on Twitch. We named Buzzy. Twitch chat named Buzzy.
Yeah.
My emotional support Squishy, who's definitely
that you needed 2 years ago.
It's definitely going to be making an appearance in a Twitch highlight of Among Us where I'm just like, everybody's like, where were you, Amy? And I'm like, I'm hugging my Squishy. Don't know what's going on. Why does Keith hate me?
He just hates everybody.
I guess. He's a DM, so, I kind of get it. I've had his life. A lot.
You've had his life.
As his player. But, it's like... It's been weird not, like, sitting down and talk about the news on a regular basis for, like, a fucking month and a bit.
Yeah.
But, like, I think we've had some good podcasts. Like, I think Game of the Year was a really fun discussion. I really enjoyed chatting with Sadie. Doing the most anticipated games of 2022. And being like... bringing out all my obscure indie hits and watching you both just I'd say a name and then you and Sadie would both go. Like you were just checking it. Looking it up.
We really were.
Got him.
No doubt about it. We were like, oh God, we have to do work now.
Yeah.
Amy's making us do work.
It's like, oh man, I haven't heard of this game either. Oh man. God damn it. And then I showed Moody what I added to my wish list on Steam. All of the indie games.
All of them.
All of them.
Like, every single one.
I don't need a reminder to remember, like, AAA games. Content creators and marketing departments will do that for me. Wait, no, hold on, they're the same thing. Marketing departments will do that for me. And was that all just a setup for that one joke? The world will never know.
The world will never know at all.
So I take it there's no Bulbasaur in Pokemon.
I haven't found one. Which is like automatically makes the game a 0 out of 10.
I mean that sucks, right? Because like you found an Eevee pretty quickly and evolved it into a Sylveon while I was chatting with you on stream. So obviously I was really happy and excited. And I wish like we could have the Bulbasaur moment for you as well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's alright.
I mean, it is your game.
It is like, it's like, Moody, it's your game. You have to have your Pokemon. Yes, I do. I know I do, but I can't do anything about it.
That's a shame.
That's true.
It really is.
I've just been faffing on.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I can tell. It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know how to fill in time. It's fine. We've got plenty of time left on the Bant's clock.
That's true. The Bant's clock.
I get positive feedback about the banter at the start of the podcast.
Yes, it's true. Our banter is legendary. Let's just call it what it is. It is legendary banter.
I think,
and that's all you want in the
I don't
beginning.
know. Like, I'm sure there's people out there who are like, "Oh my god, when are they going to start talking about the fucking news?" But like,
there's timestamps.
There's timestamps.
That would
have been a great segue. I should have saved that. Shit.
Damn it, Rudy.
Oh man,
you're too good at this. I know.
Maybe you should be running this podcast.
God, no.
Man, I keep offering that to people, and everybody says no for some reason.
I cancelled one, so I didn't have to.
That's fair. I do miss that podcast. It was legitimately the only movie podcast I listened to.
Oh, thank you.
Now I don't know anything about films.
I won't lie, neither do I, and it's kind of refreshing just going in and just not knowing anything. And then you when you watch a film and you go online and say, "Oh God, this apparently all of these things happened behind the scenes of the film," and I'm just like, I don't care. I enjoyed it. Oh my God, it was such a relief.
I mean, for me, it depends on the things that happen behind the scenes, like, but yeah, I get that. I mean,
depends on what happens at the end of the day.
Yeah, it depends on what went on. But I do like being divorced from discourse around something. Like, I remember, and it always goes back to this one, the Mass Effect Andromeda. I got sent a copy of that like 2-3 weeks before it came out by a year.
Yeah.
And I got to play Mass Effect Andromeda like completely separate from everything that kicked off when the game came out. So by the time the game came out, and I was sitting on a podcast talking about it with Tom at the time, because he played it, but he like smashed it in like 2 days at launch or something. And we sat down and we talked about it, and didn't spoil it for him.
That's a big ass game. It's bigger than Mass Effect 3. That bugger.
Only if you do all of the side stuff, which you shouldn't do if you play Mass Effect Andromeda, because that's a great way to hate the game. We just chatted about it, and we had a nice chat, and I was like, you know what, it doesn't hit the highs of like the old Mass Effect trilogy, but you know, it's fine for what it is, and I liked some of the characters, and it had some really good moments, and I praised the ending. And basically, I was just sat there going, yeah, you know, like it has some issues, but overall, it was a pretty decent game. And then it came out. And I did point out, like, I was like, there was a fair few bugs, and they are going to need to fix those. But like, there was nothing game breaking. Some of them were really funny, as opposed to anything else. And then the fucking game came out, and it just went like, if you imagine, like, I just played like a Reaper horn noise at that moment. And so I was sitting there going, I didn't see a problem with it. But I wonder if I'd played it I wonder if I just got it like when it came out and played it with all of that like cacophony of like noise, you know, surrounding me, would I have said the same thing? Or would I have like because I did that with Sea of Thieves, you remember, where like everybody I was around me kept telling me how Sea of Thieves had no content, but every time I'd played it, I was like, I'm having a great time.
Well, it didn't have content, but it was still a fun game. I admit that. I had fun in it when I played with friends and everything.
But I was like sat on other podcasts and all of my other friends, and I was like, I kept bringing up, like, do you want to play Sea of Thieves? You were like, no, it's boring. It's got no content. And I was like, but I like it. But that got in my head. And then eventually I was like, yeah, it's got no content. It's boring. And then I remember sitting down with Kirsty playing it like December of that year. And I was like, wait, no, this game's great. What the fuck?
I listen to them.
Why do I let people influence my own opinions? Like, fucking, god damn it. And ever since, I just stopped listening to everybody.
That's true. I wouldn't listen to people.
Not even listening to you right now.
That's fair. I wasn't listening much either to you either. So it's all good.
This is the Words About Games podcast, and every single Monday you can get the video podcast on youtube.com/wordsaboutgamesuk or the audio version on a variety of platforms, including Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and a few we've never even heard of. There's timestamps in the description wherever you choose to get your podcast, so you can just skip around and listen to whichever bits that you want to listen to, including our new sections, which will be in the in the show notes with timestamps and relevant links, but we'll tell you about those when we get to them. If you want to hang out with us while we play games, you can head over to twitch.tv/wordsaboutgames. I'm going to be streaming some indie games this week because I'm kind of tripling down on playing indie games this year because those are the ones that are the most fun to me. And Moody might pop up and do another 10-hour Pokemon stream. Who knows?
I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows? You didn't even plan to do a 10-hour Pokemon stream on launch day. You just kept going.
That's true. That's true. I just kept going, didn't I? Oh my god, he's still going.
I was sending people. I was sending people pictures of the stream timer at like 7, 8 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours. I was like, this fucking guy's still going. He's fucking madman. He's still playing Pokemon. And he's like, people are like, is he tired? I'm like, no.
He's still going.
He's still like imagine Moody imagine peak Moody. He's still there.
Oh, there we go. That's how Google dark mode. Seriously.
Don't make me find that tweet again.
I've just transferred show notes to Microsoft Word document and just put it on dark mode. And I went, oh,
I can see again.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. And now I'm going to switch this to that. And now I'm going to...
Should we jump in?
Though. Yeah,
should we jump into the news? We've got news, and then we've got a break, and then we've got more news, but this is news part 1. Ubisoft VP says players don't get, I'm doing air quotes, NFTs, but can't explain what there is to get. This is from Rich Stanton over at PC Gamer, who writes, last year, Ubisoft announced its first foray into NFTs. Ubisoft Quartz was announced via a new website in an overwhelmingly disliked YouTube video and basically amounted to selling helmets with little numbers on them in Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Nevertheless, the publisher seems committed to the idea of utilizing these technologies in some form, and the whole shebang is being led by Nicholas Pouard, VP of Ubisoft's Strategic Innovations Lab. Pouard has now commented on the backlash to Quartz, telling Finder, quote, I think gamers don't get what a digital secondary market can bring to them. For now, because of the current situation and context of NFTs, gamers really believe it's first destroying the planet and second, just a tool for speculation. But what we are seeing first is the end game. The end game is about giving players the opportunities to resell their items once they're finished with them or they're finished playing the game itself. So it's really for them. It's really beneficial, and they don't get it for now. Also, this is part of a paradigm shift in gaming. Moving from one economic system to another is not easy to handle. There are a lot of habits you need to go against, and a lot of your ingrained mindset you have to shift. It takes time. We know that, end quote. One of Pouard's key arguments is about decentralization and how it could potentially change what a game is. Quote, I'm sorry, as I know it's difficult to understand right now, as this kind of idea doesn't really exist yet, but we see that the ecosystem for a game can be much, much bigger than what a game is today in terms of value creation for everyone, end quote. This, of course, is leading to the concept of play to earn, something that many feel an instinctive revulsion towards. Games are surely about having fun and being entertained and an escape from the actual world of having to make rent and have a job. Quote, there's the fun, of course, says Pouard, with no hint of irony despite him working for Ubisoft. The pleasure you take by just playing. There is the fact that you could learn things. For instance, in Assassin's Creed, you learn about history, and we worked on experiments in old games where you could learn new soft skills. So a game could be a lot of things and can bring a lot of things to players. Adding a real-world value reward might be the next addition on top of all the value a game already offers, end quote. The idea of decentralized economies around games is not a new one, and it seems like Quartz lacks a basic use argument beyond owning an in-game cosmetic. This larger concept of such items flowing into and out of other games simply doesn't exist, nor is there a compelling rationale for why players would want to be in such an ecosystem of decentralized guilds roaming from play-to-earn game to play-to-earn game. We just don't get it, Moody. That's it. It's amazing. It's the best thing ever. We just don't get it because we're dumb.
I'll say this, like, if we aren't getting it, it's because you're not marketing it right either. I won't lie. NFTs I still don't fully understand. I've admitted that multiple times. All I know is that I don't think I've ever heard a single benefit.
There isn't one.
At all. No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. There's no benefit to what I've heard. But there is a lot of negatives. a lot of negatives, and this guy is he's just a typical Ubisoft head. It's a typical Ubisoft head who is just a complete asshole, and he thinks he's just an entitled prick who thinks he's above us all, and that's all it is. And he's basically just coming towards us and saying, "Yo, you are not important. Even though we have to sell your game, you are not important because you all are entitled, and you should just appreciate that we are making you games, okay? And all we want in the end is just to thank you in the end, basically." And that's all he basically wants us to say. He just wants us to shut up and not say a single thing. And he wishes then go back to when the internet wasn't around, mate, because it'll be a lot more simpler for you than to get away with this type of shit. No, the guy's just an idiot, and just to come out and just call the game as basically coming out. He's basically just saying we're stupid, and I'm just like, yo.
But it's fine. You don't understand it. Like, actually, unfortunately, thanks to people like you, I do understand this. Well, I mean, I'm never going to claim 100% understanding of anything because, I'm not an idiot. I am an idiot. That's what I'm saying, but I'm not. You know what I mean? I don't 100% understand NFTs. Nobody does.
I won't lie. I don't think NFTs understand themselves.
NFTs are digital receipts for a thing that you quote unquote own, like Troy Baker's NFT, which he owns because it's his NFT. But I've also got it saved on my phone, and I didn't have to pay anything for it. I just held my thumb down on the image, and then this thing came up and it said save image, and I was like, yes please, click, and I didn't have to pay tens of thousands of dollars for that. That's how dumb NFTs are. That's how dumb they are. Like, the thing about the benefits of NFTs is any supposed benefit to video games, like to actual video games, already exists. Like, everything they do already exists. The only difference is it doesn't exist on the blockchain. Almost anything, because again, I don't 100% know everything, so I'm not going to pretend to. So I'll say almost everything to cover my own back. There was a tweet put out by someone. He was like, imagine owning a skin in Fortnite and then being able to transfer it to Valorant or Call of Duty or Minecraft. Like, that will never ever happen for licensing reasons, and also because that's not how games work.
That's not how the Force works, guys.
If you take a fucking skin from Valorant and go and copy and the code and paste it into fucking Fortnite will explode. And that is how video game development works. Fortnite will not work anymore.
And Epic need Fortnite to work. It's the only money thing. Like, it's just another entitled boss out there. That's all. It's just literally telling us to say shut up and just take what you get given, basically.
Exactly. Like,
that's all it is.
People like Poulard and companies like Ubisoft think if they just keep talking, this will become like microtransactions and loot boxes. Well, maybe not loot boxes after Star Wars Battlefront 2, and everything else bad that any AAA publisher has decided to get their fucking grubby little hands on, as James Stephanie Sterling would say. And if they just keep talking, everybody will stop being mad and forget why they're mad and just be like, yeah, it's just a thing. We're just going to accept it now. And like, I think people are just sick of accepting shit being shoveled directly into their mouths and having it be called video games. That's just me personally, though. Like, pay to earn, like, play to earn, like, fuck my life. Do you know what video games are missing, Moody? Like, the one thing missing from video games, them being a second job. Because I feel like that's what's really missing from the medium. Like, I sit down and I play. Like, I was playing Warm Snarl last week, and I was playing it, and I was like thinking, damn, I wish this was my second job. Like, I wish this was like a thing I was doing so I could earn money. Like, no, I'm just having fun with a video game like a fucking idiot.
Well, the thing is, that kind of already is happening out there with the people who want to become content creators and everything. Like, who really like you and me do this because we enjoy doing it. It's fun. This is like just us coming up and just having a conversation like we normally do in general. When it comes to like everyone else, like other people who we know who are just full on content creators who are marketing themselves as a content creator and push themselves hard to be that type of person, that is out there already in some sort of form.
Yeah, that would make the blockchain games a third job.
Basically, yeah.
Because everybody needs all the jobs.
The ninjas and the idiot doctor disrespects and all like that. Like they already are. They were.
Well,
That was a second job for them for the longest time until they literally hit it, and now it's their job type of thing. But like,
I have no interest in any of this. Like. And I wish it was just something that wasn't like it's a fucking pyramid scheme, guys. Like, how many, like, we've seen so many scams happen already in the video game space with related to this. Like, people are putting up all these NFTs to go in games. There was a Minecraft thing not that long ago, where they were selling something, I don't know, as NFTs as like part of like this Minecraft PvP game. And then, like, all the money came in, and it was like $1.2 million. And then all of a sudden, the Discord server disappeared, the developers disappeared, all the money disappeared. And it's just like, this is a fucking grift. And I love that all these AAA publishers are getting in on it because people are finally realizing that AAA publishers are a fucking grift as well. Please keep doing this. Because all you're doing is you're showing us your ass. And more people are looking and going, oh, yeah, it's a bit of a scam, this, isn't it? Like, the amount of fucking artists I see is like who are having their work ripped off and sold as NFTs. Like, DeviantArt actually made a tool, actually made a thing for DeviantArt that would alert artists to when their art has been sold as an NFT. That's how prevalent this is. And yet you'll still get fucking NFT grifters going, it's going to be great for the art community. They're going to be able to sell their art for so much money. They're not, but somebody else is. And you don't even own the art. Could still go, like, someone could take your profile picture, like you, Moody, or anyone else. Like, there's a lot of cartoon profile pictures going around because there's this cool new app that makes you look like a cool cartoon person. And like, someone could right click one of those and sell it as an NFT.
Nice.
And they don't own you. They don't own your fucking picture. Of course they don't, but they think they do. Yeah. And also, the whole thing's unregulated. So, like, you could just steal it. And who's going to stop you? It's unregulated. Fucking idiots, man. NFT bros are fucking idiots. And you'll notice, we've talked about the drawbacks of NFTs for a while. And we haven't even mentioned the ecological disaster that crypto is. Because, like, it's a big problem. But, like, it's just part of the problem. You can mention like 10 different things and not before you come up with like without even mentioning that and go, yeah. So you can talk for like, I can talk for hours about how bad NFTs are and not talk about, the death of the planet.
Yeah. All else said, I think this will be a good wrap up for us to move on to the next story. Is just like Activision stories, this is going to lasted for the rest of the year since when it happened in July or June last year. This is going to be a whole thing that's going to be going throughout the entire year, and we'll be talking about it and continue to do that. Like, that's what we're going to
do. Next time we talk about NFTs, I'll tell you all why carbon offsetting is bullshit. But for now, I'm picking up some vibes that Moody wants to move on. I'm going to take those vibes and we're going to move on. Riot.
I think we'll go on a loop, that's all.
Oh, no, fine. I don't mind going on a loop. NFTs are bullshit. Ubisoft's bullshit. NFTs are bullshit. Ubisoft covered for sexual predators and harassers for decades and still have gotten away with it, and everybody stopped talking about it. Riot Games will pay $100 million in gender discrimination settlement. This is from Nicole Carpenter over at Polygon, who writes, Riot Games, the video games developer behind League of Legends, will pay $100 million to settle a class action gender discrimination lawsuit the company announced ages ago. The settlement is 10 times what the company originally agreed to pay. You see that smile creeping across my face. Like, yeah, fuck you, Riot. Fuck you. Riot was originally ordered in 2019 to pay $10 million to the thousands of class members when California's Department of Fair Employment and Housing stepped in alongside the Division of Labor Standards Enforcement to oppose the settlement. The two state agencies instead argued Riot should pay up to $400 million for its labor violations. The majority of the settlement, $80 million, will go to women who are either currently or formerly worked for Riot since November 2014. At least 2,365 are eligible to receive a part of the settlement, DFEH said, including contracted workers. The rest of the settlement, $20 million, will be paid as attorney fees and miscellaneous expenses. Quote, this is from Riot artist Gabriella Downey. In the battle for equality, announcing one's truth is the singularity that changes everything. It takes bravery to come forward with a loud message about oppression and pain, but the right people hear it and will help. I'm grateful to the other Riot women who stood up alongside me and to all the rioters who supported our efforts to achieve equal pay and fair treatment for women, end quote. Alongside the $100 million payout, Riot agreed to, quote, substantial systemic changes, end quote, which would include, quote, a gender equity analysis, end quote, performed by an independent expert, of pay, promotions, and assignments for 3 years. Riot also agreed to create a $6 million fund for each of those for 3 years, for a total of $80 million, to fund diversity initiatives and to adjust pay for equity. Quote, I am so glad we have achieved this first step toward justice for women at Riot Games. I hope this case serves as an example for other studios and an inspiration for the women in the industry at large. Women in gaming do not have to suffer inequality and harassment in silence. Change is possible, end quote.
Well, that lawyer did say she was coming for more, and damn, did she come for more. Riot Games, she tried to wiggle her way out of sending out a small settlement, and we were so happy when this came out. This came out like early, after either, what was it, late last year when we signed off for the year, or was it early this year?
It was early
when we were obviously, when we were doing all the other lists and everything for us. But no, yeah, this was we both said that when we got back to the news that this one of the news would be this to talk about and everything. This is fantastic to hear. So happy to hear this. I hope this does finally. I hope that, like, I know a couple of people who are like work at Riot Games and everything, and to what I'm hearing from them, like, things have already been starting to change about Riot already and everything, which is fantastic to hear, and that's what we want to hear. Like, Riot Games, at the end of the day, even though they are known for one game, and that's League of Legends, they are a staple out there when it comes to gaming and development and everything, and they should be. And if they can just get this sorted and now move on and then keep moving forward and put in do the things, bring in proper diversity, gender equality and everything, I want to champion this, and I want Riot Games to be championing this, and hopefully this is something that's going to happen and everything. It should never have happened in the first place, and I hope all the bad seeds are out there, have all left, and whatever's happening to them is getting sorted and everything and whatnot. Well done here. I'm really happy to hear this. This is fantastic. So,
yeah, me too. Like I said, like I couldn't stop the smile when I was reading it, especially the last figure. Like, I mean, we called it bullshit. The $10 million, we called it bullshit when it happened, and I believe my closing remarks on that news story when we did it was "fucking get them."
I think you did. I think that was for you. Yeah, you said "fucking go and get them."
Fucking go and get the bastards.
They heard you. She heard you.
I want to fucking destroy them. Destroy them if you have to.
She was like this. Her woman's sense was just like, I hear a woman from a long distant island. I hear what she's saying. I respect it. Like, obviously, it's all me. No, it's not all me. It's all you.
Like, this is what I hope to see more of. Like, when Foxes was around last year, he coined the phrase when we were in the midst of the Activision Blizzard stuff. He coined the phrase "pressure for change," which I think really stuck. Like, for me personally, and like in terms of why we do what we do on this podcast, because like we could be like other podcasts and just not talk about this stuff.
Ignore everything, yeah.
But like, and it's not just us. Obviously, it's not just me and Moody. There are a lot of amazing people out in the games industry doing what they can with what they have for results like this. This is why we do stuff like this. This is why we talk. This is why we keep pressure on companies like Riot and Ubisoft and Activision Blizzard and all of them, like, because we want to see positive changes, not just in terms of the money. The money's fantastic, and it's really great that all of these women are going to get some change, like in terms of money. Sorry. So to get some money, like, that's fantastic. But like, we want to see the positive changes ripple out through. We want the games industry to be a good place to work, not just for straight white cis men, but for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody of every different color and gender and sexuality. I want everybody to be welcome to make games, because the more diverse the people are making games, the more diverse the games become.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. It's a slow process, and it's slow. We've noticed ourselves it is changing. You can see it in the games that we've played and talked about.
I think part of it as well is, some of them are games of the year contenders. Check out last week's episode 289. I think part of it is, I think we've changed as well in terms of like the games that we seek out as well. But like the fact that there's more of those games around helps.
And I'll say this for my part. I'll say this: if you're unsure, like what games are out there, like but you want to know more about them, but you know someone who knows, like my game, like for me was Amy. I didn't know half the games of what Amy played or anything like that, and Amy championed a lot of things. But since I obviously joined the podcast, I've moved on to see what Amy plays, and I've enjoyed a lot of them. I've loved a lot of them. And it's been I think it's helped me grow as a person. I think it's helped me realize things on myself in general. And go and champion that. If you know someone like that, pick their ears, pick their brains, not their ears, pick their brains, and find out what games they know about, and just give them a try, champion them, and everything like that. It's really like, or even better, hit Amy up on Twitter.
I was literally about to say,
she has a list. She can give you a fucking list. She'll just give you a Steam page.
Show me what you like, and I will find you 10 games easily. I do it for everybody. Like Phil, Erica, Sneaky Pete, when we play Among Us, when she got a Switch, she was like, I need some game ideas. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, what have you played? What do you like? Blah, 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 this, that, and the other. Cool. And I was like, get Spiritfarer. That was it. It wasn't like a big list of games. It was like, start with Spiritfarer. She got Spiritfarer. She fucking loved Spiritfarer. I was like, I knew you'd love Spiritfarer. Now get 2 Point Hospital. And I don't know. I've got a gift for being able to recommend games to people. But like, yeah, like I do reviews. Check the reviews out, because like, I'd review all sorts of different types of games. Hit me up on Twitter. Ask me. I don't mind talking about video games. Kind of started a whole YouTube channel about it.
Yeah.
So, it's fine. But like, there's tons of people out there. Like, obviously, as Moody's saying, like, he gets games from, I get games where, like, I follow people who like put games in my path. Put them on my radar. I don't just summon the knowledge out of nowhere. So like, there's tons of people out there who like cover, that's not the right word, you just like find cool off the beaten track games, and sometimes those are the best ones.
But again, shout out to this, well done, congratulations to everybody who's gonna benefit from all of this, and hopefully, like say, proper quality at Riot Games. Bringing it back
to the point.
Let's Riot Games. We do not want to be talking about you seeing another freaking lawsuit over some terrible shit again from you, Riot Games. I hope you have truly got your shit together.
I want to see cool games made by cool people, and that's it. That's all I want from you. I don't need anything else.
Exactly.
Anyway, speaking of anything else. This next news story, I've included a lot of the context that I normally delete because obviously we haven't been around talking about stuff for a while. A lot of stuff's happened, and also I think it's good to get a refresher. This is like the to be continued. This is like the previously on the games industry.
Yeah, I'll start. Previously with Activision Blizzard.
Raven unionization plans continue without Activision Blizzard recognition. This is from James Batchelor over at gamesindustry.biz. He writes, the Raven software staff attempting to create a new union for game workers must move to the next stage without said union being recognized by Activision Blizzard's leadership. Following a vote in which 78% of eligible QA workers voted in favor of unionizing within the Communications Workers of America, Activision Blizzard was given until 6 p.m. Eastern Time on whatever day this was written to voluntarily recognize the newly formed Game Workers Alliance as a union. However, the Washington Post reports the publisher's management has not done so. The Post also reports Raven studio head Brian Raffel sent an email addressing the issue to staff shortly after the deadline passed. Quote, after carefully reviewing and considering the CWA's initial request of the company, we worked quickly to find a mutually acceptable solution with the CWA that would have led to an expedited election process. Unfortunately, the parties could not reach an agreement. We expect that the union will soon be moving forward with the filing of a petition to the National Labour Relations Board for an election of eligible Raven employees. If filed, the company will respond formally to that petition promptly. The most important thing to the company is that each eligible employee has the opportunity to have their voice heard and their individual vote counted. And we think that all employees at Raven should have a say in this decision, end quote. A joint statement from the CWA and Game Workers Alliance confirmed they will proceed with unionization plans without Activision Blizzard's recognition. Quote, we are proud to file with the NLRB as we enjoy supermajority support for our union and know that together we will gain the formal legal recognition we have earned, end quote. Once filed, the Game Workers Alliance needs to win more than 50% of the votes within Raven's QA department. If it succeeds, it will be recognized as a union, and Activision Blizzard must begin negotiating with the new organization about issues with working conditions at the studio and more. However, this has been complicated by this week's revelation that the studio is restructuring, with QA workers to be embedded in each department rather than operating as a standalone group. Plans for unionization ramped up during a protest last month after Activision laid off a third of the QA team at Raven Software. The publisher maintains that it declined to extend these workers' agreements. Staff even held a strike that lasted nearly 2 months, although it ended this past weekend following the unionization vote as a sign of good faith to Activision leadership.
Yay to the people who are finally getting this unionization sorted. Like, shout out to them. I love QA. That's what I want to do and everything like that. And like QA has been massively underrepresented in the games industry for decades. It's disgusting. It's like the top 5. It's in top 5 of one of the most important jobs in the games industry, and it's the most underpaid. It's disgusting and it's just terrible. Activision Blizzard board or Raven's board or heads or whatever, just doing what Activision Blizzard are probably telling them to do. I'm not gonna lie there. For me personally, like Bobby Cobb's just saying, no, you not.
I'm still the boss here until next year.
Yeah, nothing like that, and that's basically what's happening here. They were never, not gonna lie, they were never gonna say yes, we pro this and all like that. They were never gonna do it.
No,
it's shit. I would have loved them to come out and say yes, we support this type of thing, but they were never going to. Them trying to embed them now, separate them, and put them in other parts of the, combining them with other parts
other
of
departments
of the development side.
It's a union busting
for me
tactic.
it's a union busting tactic. There's no doubt about that. But for me, in general, I think QA needs to be formally embedded into a lot of elements of all jobs in the industry anyway. I think that one, they should have a separate team, but they should also have parts that go off into the other elements. For me, so they can properly report back and work together properly and everything. That's just me in my head how I would do it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll hold my hand up there. But yeah, they are trying to union bust this and they're trying to stop this as fast as they can. Hopefully it won't. Hopefully their resolve will hold. And at the end of the day, that's the thing, though. If this stops, they're just gonna go on strike again. That's the thing. It's going to happen. There's no doubt about it. And then everyone will be complaining again that Call of Duty is still broken and everything.
Oh, what happened to Warzone, Activision? What happened? It seems like it's falling apart for some reason.
Yeah. So, like, I hope this goes through. I want this to go through. Like, unionization is something that's desperately needed in the games industry, and I hope this truly goes through. It's a shame that it's had to happen because of this. This should have been unionization for the industry should have happened years ago. I don't care what and everything like that. It should have happened years ago, but hopefully this will go through. And Activision's still gonna Activision until that deal goes through. Until next year, Activision gonna Activision.
Like I said, we did obviously our emergency 288.5 podcast with Joe Medforce, and I said, look, man, like, I don't know what the future holds for Activision Blizzard beyond them being bought by Microsoft and as of right now, I really don't care. Like, as far as I'm concerned, like, this is the issue. This issue is pressing. Like, the issues that are currently occurring and have been occurring for a long time at Activision Blizzard can't wait 18 months or however long it's going to end up being for Microsoft to hopefully fix it. Like, we hope they'll fix this stuff. We don't actually know if they will, because obviously we don't know what they're going to do, because we'll never know until they actually own the company, if the buy even goes through. Which it probably will, but you know, it's the game industry. I'm never saying this will definitely happen. Until it actually happens.
There's always a chance that something could happen. I don't disagree.
But like, yeah, this to me, this is still happening. Microsoft is not a magic cure-all problems solution anyway. Even if it is, it's not right now. Bobby Kotick is basically guaranteed to keep his job for the next year and a half.
18 months, pretty much, yeah. But that's the thing about it. I think we have to put that in there, and I think it's going to be something that we always bring up, especially when it comes to Activision Blizzard news. Microsoft can't do anything until this deal goes through everybody. If you don't realize that or know that yet, just remember that Microsoft cannot touch this yet. Yeah. They'll be breaking laws in America and everything like that.
The whole thing. Yeah, they can't touch anything.
So they can't touch it right now. So Bobby Kotick is still in charge, being the dick of the dickers of all dickish douchebags. Like, stopping all these things. So
yeah, like I hope that the Raven Software QA team gets to unionize. I hope this knocks over a domino that the rest of the employees at Raven turn around and go, wait a minute, why are we in a union? Which then I hope knocks over another domino, and then another domino, and then eventually we just see the games industry being unionized. Like, unions are pretty good. Like, regardless of what rich people will try to tell you, because the people that tell you that unions are bad, actually, guess what? They're all fucking rich. And you're not. Sorry. I don't think there's any rich people listening to this podcast. And if there is, can we talk about my coffee? Maybe some donations. But no, like, the unions are good. Like, Activision Blizzard will try and spin this 15 different ways from Sunday and tell you that, like, oh, but if the employees are in a union, the union has to negotiate with management. Whereas if they're not, like, the employees can just have direct contact with management. No, they can't. And even if they could, what good has that done them for the last 20 years? I have volumes upon volumes of podcasts that will tell you all you need to know about what's been going on at Activision Blizzard for the last couple of decades. So maybe it's time for a different approach. I like unionization. I think it's good. I've been shouting for it for a long time. And I hope this goes through. It's going to be a fight, but hopefully they'll win.
Hopefully. You got this.
You got this.
You got this. QA team at Raven Software, you got this.
Yeah, you can do it. We believe in you. We're pulling for you. We're sending you all the positive vibes.
Do you want me to do the next thing?
Do you want to do the next thing? Yeah, that's fine. Cool. I was going to do the next thing, but if you want to do the next thing.
So we've hit that halftime moment, everyone. What? A halftime? Yeah. You want to get yourself a drink and pause this quickly while we talk about a quick game for you to listen to and probably play hopefully in the future. Or definitely Amy will, because she's nuts and crazy and she plays like Faust. Beacon Pines is a cute and creepy storybook adventure where you use charms to rewrite fate. You play as both the reader of the storybook and its main character, Luca. The game is set within the town of Beacon Pines, and something strange is happening at the old factory outside of town. But Luca and his friends are the only ones taking notice. Sneak out late, investigate creepy labs, throw some pigs, uncover the truth, and maybe, just maybe, survive the summer. This is a game that's planned released for PC and Nintendo Switch. You can get it and save it on your Steam page at this moment in time. Go and do that, everybody.
Play a demo too.
Beacon Pines, and there's a demo there, yes.
Yeah. So for anyone that doesn't understand what just happened, this is a new segment of the podcast we're calling Indie Game of the Week. And I say new like I've not done this before, but I have done this before. But I think doing this with media is going to be... It's a returning segment, but I think doing this with media is going to be more fruitful. I didn't realize you were going to do the thing. I thought I was going to do the thing. Yeah, every week we see so many fucking indie games that look really cool, and sometimes we just don't get the chance to talk about them enough. So I thought we could bring this back and go, look at this cool indie game. And Moody can go, this is what it says on the start page. And then we can go, yeah, let's talk about it for a few minutes because I'm excited. I'm excited about video games, including this one. It looks really cool.
Yeah, there's no doubt about we said when we did our game of the year, last year was a great year for video games. A great year for video games, even though some weird batshit crazy. The industry thinks otherwise. The news outlets and all that think freaking otherwise. Maybe instead of playing just AAA freaking games, you might actually look above the table and see other games and the indie games. You might actually realize, no, 2021 was a great year, and I believe 2022 is going to be a great year as well, because we're going to find some amazing hidden gems and indie games out there and just smash it.
Yeah, like Beacon Pines. I'm really looking forward to. Did you click the store page and have a look at it?
Yes, and I have saved it on my phone.
Look at the graphics. Look at the graphics.
I was thinking, well, I know why Amy's got. Forget what this game is. It could be the worst game in the world, but she's gonna be like, it's cute.
It's cute as fuck. Like, it's gonna be cool. I'm gonna try and stream it. I'm gonna try and do a demo stream this week. So I'm gonna try and stream. This is high on the list of like demos I want to check out. But it's so cute, and look at the little reindeer. There's a link in the description for anybody that wants to like click it and make this segment make a little bit more sense.
That's true.
We'll workshop a proper intro next week.
Oh, I think I'll just wing it. Wing it.
I don't mind like doing not like a written down thing, just like this is what it is. Go click the link and then we can all experience this together. It's giving me
the only thing I would say is probably throw the trailer up when we're talking about it.
Yeah, too much effort. People can just go and watch the trailer while we talk. Look at the screenshots. Realize that this is some kind of anthropomorphic, animal-driven Stranger Things type deal. And you know what I mean, Moody, I love my Stranger Things type deals. I like Deco Generation.
You do.
But yeah, I just thought it would be fun to... Yeah. Also, like, just have a discussion about some cool indie games.
Yeah, definitely. Like, cool indie games, cool games in general. That's all we want to talk about. So
that's all we want to talk about. That's all we want to talk about.
Do you think we want to talk about Activision Blizzard in a terrible light? We wish we were talking about them in a great light. Just the same with bloody Ubisoft. But sadly, they make it so goddamn easy to freaking hate them.
Stop doing stupid shit. But yeah, Beacon Pines, click the link, play the demo, join the Discord, wishlist the game. Do whatever you gotta do, whatever you want to do. Looks cool. I'll be talking about it again real soon, I imagine.
Time for part 2 of the news while Moody takes his drugs. Don't take drugs, kids.
Unless they're prescribed by a doctor for medical reasons, in which case definitely do take drugs. Call of Duty will stay on PlayStation for now, Bloomberg reports. This is from John Carson over at Game Informer. He writes, With Microsoft's impending purchase of Activision Blizzard announced last week, little has been said about which currently planned multi-platform games like Diablo or the immensely popular Call of Duty will see the light of day on non-Xbox consoles in the future. According to a report from Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, PlayStation will still be a place to play at least 3 more Call of Duty titles. Schreier spoke to a handful of unnamed sources familiar with the deals between Activision and Sony prior to the announcement of the historic purchase. The 3 titles are said to be this year's Infinity Ward developed Modern Warfare follow-up, along with a Treyarch-helmed game, and which we assume is scheduled for next year. Taking the 3rd spot is an update to the successful Battle Royale mode Warzone, which stands as a separate entity in the Call of Duty franchise following its release in 2020. Microsoft's intention, as Spencer says, is to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation, at least the ones Activision already promised. After that, it seems, is still up in the air. Anything after that is still up in the air. Sorry.
I'll say what I can't remember his name from Kind of Funny said this, but you don't spend $68 billion to put Call of Duty on, not just on your own platform and PC. But then I don't know which podcast it was. I can't remember it. So apologies for the person to that podcast there, but Call of Duty is an enigma in its own when it comes to its IP. Like, the top 10 best-selling games last year, the top 2 were both Call of Duties. One of them was Call of Duty 2 years ago, not just last year's one. And like that's because it was on everything. Will it do that if it's just on Xbox and PC? And Microsoft are losing a lot of money there. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure what they're going to do here. Like obviously they're going to throw it on when all this goes through, and I think all of Activision games are going straight on Game Pass as soon as they can get them on there, basically.
Pretty much. We saw the same thing with Bethesda.
Yeah. So I'm not really fully sure. Like, Call of Duty, if there was any game that stays on PlayStation, it's Call of Duty, just because it's the biggest IP in the world.
Yeah.
When it comes to games.
Yeah. Call of Duty, this is the thing, like, so there's contractual obligations that obviously say that the next 2 plus like whatever Warzone 2
update
is.
Warzone is, yeah.
Like that, they obviously are already being planned for PlayStation. There's nothing Microsoft could do about it one way or the other. I mean, the next Call of Duty that comes out at the end of the year, I mean, Microsoft doesn't even own Activision yet, so it's definitely going to come out on PlayStation platforms. Like, Call of Duty is the only IP Microsoft has bought in the last X amount of years when they've been buying up studios. That is, I would say is big enough for Xbox to consider keeping it multi-platform.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that is massively fair.
I think like with like something like Elder Scrolls or Fallout, like I think that there'll be a backlash when the next Elder Scrolls comes out and it only comes out on Xbox and PC. But I think it's not going to be that big a backlash, because I hate to break it to fans of those IPs, they're not Call of Duty big.
Yeah,
I'd go so far as to say the same stuff about Blizzard. I don't think Overwatch 3. I like, it depends when Overwatch 2 comes out or Diablo 4 comes out, but like whatever's next, like those 2 games might appear on PlayStation, but whatever's next for those franchises after that probably won't. Like, because they're just not big enough. And they're not big enough to make to have that big of a negative impact, but they're big enough to drive sales of Xbox. And again, even if you think you've broken the Matrix and you play those games on PC, guess what? That you're playing it on a Windows PC. Microsoft's other gaming platform.
Think about it, yeah. I agree with what you're saying. For me, like, so Call of Duty is probably the only thing out there that will potentially stay a multi-plat, but that'll also Sony come to the table though.
Sony's going to have to come to the table.
What's the thing about it? I don't really know. Yeah, Sony has to come to the table if they want to keep Call of Duty on the plat thing. There's no doubt about it. But do Sony look at Nintendo and go, yo, they barely have AAA games on there, especially the big ones, the Call of Duties, the FIFA. The FIFA's 9 times out of 10 is broken on there apparently, and everything, and they do perfectly fine all the time. Nintendo, Sony. Do you think Sony are going to be
Well,
are going to accept that, or
that brings a fascinating question, because one, PlayStation will still get a lot of AAA games. You know, there are still a lot of
there's the
AAA
Ubisofts,
publishers,
the EAs, and
Ubisoft,
all that crap,
EAs,
yeah.
etc., etc.
It's just the worry is that we know Microsoft have the money. If they want to, they can go out
Sure.
and buy them.
Let's
And
not
that's what
speculate
everyone's
on
worried
that.
about. That's the thing. What everyone's worried about. Yeah.
But like what you got to counterbalance that with is how many people buy PlayStations to play Call of Duty, right? Versus how many of those people who buy PlayStations to play Call of Duty will also play Uncharted or The Last of Us or Gran Turismo, Horizon, God of War, stuff like that. Like, how strong are those IPs really when balanced against Call of Duty? Like, because people will say, oh, well, PlayStation won't want to go to the table with Microsoft. PlayStation might have to go to the table with Microsoft because there's a lot of money to lose if they lose Call of Duty, irregardless of the inevitable boycott that will happen because people won't want to play Call of Duty on an Xbox because, you know what I mean? Like, the inevitable backlash to if Call of Duty does go exclusively
That number will be smaller than anyone thinks it's
to Xbox, right? It'll be the biggest boycott we've ever seen just because it's Call of Duty, but like PlayStation will lose a fuck ton of money because people will buy Xboxes to play Call of Duty. And can that shortfall be counterbalanced by the next God of War or by the next Uncharted or whatever else Sony's got work coming in the pipeline?
I think I'll say one thing. This is what this has probably done. I bet this has sped up them transferring their games to PC faster. Their exclusives.
Oh yeah.
I bet God of War Ragnarok wasn't going to be PC, PlayStation day and date. I bet there's potentially a chance that might be, and that's probably why we already think that's going to be a 2023 game. I think this is probably now locking it into 2023, so they can say PC, PlayStation day and date.
Yeah. Maybe.
To get more of that revenue, that's all.
Maybe. They're a very stubborn company, so we'll see.
That's the truth. That's the truth about it. I think that's what we got to take into consideration. They're a Japanese company, just like Nintendo. Nintendo and them are very. We know they are stubborn as hell,
and they do not like to admit when they've gotten something
they're wrong. Yeah,
like not releasing their games on PC. But like the Nintendo. The Nintendo comparison is a fascinating one. And obviously it's a very complicated sort of comparison because Nintendo has stronger IPs than PlayStation. Like, setting aside the Marvel stuff that Insomniac's working on in the future that's just been announced, like, everybody knows Mario compared to everybody like knowing The Last of Us. People know what people might have heard of The Last of Us, but don't really know what it is. Everybody knows what Mario is. He's an Italian plumber with a mustache that jumps on Goombas.
When it comes to name recognition, yes, I agree with what you're saying there.
In terms of PlayStation being able to go the Nintendo route and rely on their own IPs more than third-party IPs like Call of Duty, like potentially other massive third-party IPs that Microsoft could end up buying. Who knows? I never thought we would be living in this world. A few years ago, the rumor was that Microsoft's going to buy EA, and I laughed so hard because I was like, that's never going to happen. This is bigger than that.
This is the thing, yeah. Like, I think the only way we say that this is the end of Sony. It's not. People say this is the end of Sony. It's not the end of Sony or anything
Absolutely
like that.
not.
It's a hit. It's like Microsoft have done one killer right punch here. That's not undebatable. They've got one right. What they've hit him square in the face when it comes to this. And Sony know this. Like their dollar share, they lost 20 billion when this deal went through. That's insane. This is. I'm fascinated to see what's going to happen here. For me, I think Sony get bought. not by Microsoft, but by another big company. That's who I see. I would laugh my ass off if it was Microsoft. But no, like that's who I think it is. I think they get bought. Because this is the thing about Microsoft have said on many occasions now, their war, quote or fight, is not with Sony. Even though they're gobbling up a lot of things that Sony used to have on, or will normally had on their platform and everything. Their fight is with the Googles, the Apples, and the Tencent. I'll say this right now. I will not be surprised if one of those companies buys Sony.
The thing about it is Xbox aren't necessarily, like we said this many multiple times before, Xbox aren't trying to get you to buy an Xbox necessarily. Xbox are trying to get you to buy into the Xbox ecosystem. And it's always an advantage they have over PlayStation, right? Where it's like, how do you play God of War next year? You buy a PlayStation 5. It's that simple. Like, how do you play Halo Infinite? Well, you can play it on your Xbox. You can play it on your Xbox Series S, which is a more affordable next generation console. You could play it on PC. You could play it on your phone or on your laptop via xCloud and Game Pass. Like, you can play an Xbox exclusive game in a multitude of different ways, whereas with PlayStation, if you want to play God of War or Spider-Man 2 or Wolverine, you got to buy a PlayStation 5.
Until it comes to PC eventually.
Until it eventually comes to PC. But even then, you can only play that on PC if you have a good PC to play it on, like a gaming PC. Like, you can have the shittest fucking PC ever, but as long as it can run the internet, and you've got a decent internet connection, you can play Halo Infinite. All you need is a controller.
Yeah. Like, I'll just say this, like, a shout out to Sony on one thing. Like, I'm hearing nothing but great things about the God of War part. That apparently has been fan-freaking-tastic. Especially when we heard, like, bad things about the Horizons part and Days Gone's part. To put God of War out, one of their most successful games, and to hear it's smashing it is still just as good as what it was. That's fantastic to hear, and that's what you want to hear. So yeah, I don't know what it is. We don't know what the future is for Sony or anything like that. They're good. At the end of the day, I will not be surprised if they're just stubborn and they just say, "Yo, if Nintendo can do it, we can do it."
I think they can do it.
Do I think they buy someone? It's either a Square Enix or it's a Capcom. And probably more Square Enix.
I mean, they're buying all that. The thing about Sony is they're striking deals left and right for exclusivity on games.
Yeah.
Because they were talking about making all the Final Fantasies exclusive via deals with Square Enix, and maybe that's the route they continue to go down. Like, PlayStation's pattern for buying studios is they're buying studios they have long relationships with, like Housemarque.
They've had a
long
ass relationship with Square Enix.
Yeah, but like I'm talking about, like, Insomniac and Housemarque have pretty much been PlayStation development studios for a long time now. Like, practically, like not actually, but in effect.
Yeah. No, I don't know. But that's what I'm saying. If they were to buy anyone, I would think it would be Square Enix. I've said.
Oh yeah. Like, it'd be Square Enix or Capcom. Capcom is on a roll right now, so I don't know how likely that will be to happen. Like,
I'll say this right now. I bet they're screaming at Atlas and say, "We are locking Persona down for life."
Unless Microsoft buys Sega.
But they would have to agree. They would honor the contracts. Though,
they would honor the contract, but Persona 7.
But I bet though. But I'm telling you right now, that's what Sony they're trying to say. We're locking Persona 5. No, what number? That's 6, aren't they? The next one's gonna be 6.
Next one's 6.
Yeah, so we're gonna lock down 6, 7, 8, and 9 and 10. That's probably 15 years worth of games minimum, if not 20 years of exclusivities, and that's what they're going to do. They'll lock that down.
Well, maybe, but so here's an interesting stat. We're going to go into stat time here because I feel like this might be relevant to what I was about to say next, where it's I didn't put this in the bullet points because, spoiler alert, we have bullet points at the end of the podcast now. It's the end of financial quarters, and here's an interesting statistic. So currently, PlayStation 5 has sold 13.4 million units. That's the number.
Yeah.
That's the PlayStation give you the number of units that they've sold. Xbox don't, but it's easy to estimate roughly how many Xboxes have been sold. For people who know how to do maths. Not me. I can't estimate that. Xbox Series X and S currently stands at an estimated 12 million units sold. They're not that far behind. So the idea, like, it's not like last generation where PlayStation 4 rocketed off and Xbox One barely got out of the starting gate. It's pretty close. And if Sega released, let's say, Persona 6 on the Xbox Series consoles, like, they can make a good chunk of money. And there's a user base there this time that didn't exist last generation. So for PlayStation to lock down Persona 6 exclusivity, whereas Sega might be eyeing up Xbox platforms going, we could sell a lot of fucking Persona games on this console. Potentially. Yeah. Like, that they'd have to sweeten the pot quite a lot. And I think that if Xbox Series consoles continue to sell well enough, I'm not saying they're gonna pass PlayStation 5, but like, if they manage to keep pretty close to where PlayStation 5 is, a lot of third-party publishers might look at the deals that Sony are offering, might look at the number of potential users they can have access to on Xbox and go, well, actually, we might be able to sell more units on Xbox of this game than the money that PlayStation is offering to keep it exclusive.
Yeah.
In terms of companies like Sega who have a good working relationship with Xbox.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. There's a lot of things, and it's fascinating to see what's going to happen and everything like that. And then, at the end of the day, it's hopefully from Sony point of view, this is going to breed a massive intake of innovative ideas of them to change things up and maybe to bring some things back, or you know what I mean? Like who would have. Like, I honestly believe, like, the last time when Nintendo revealed the Switch, that was the throw of the dice. They had no idea what they were going to do, if that was going to hit or not. And thankfully, it's hit, and it's become an amazing success. The last console before that,
womp, womp.
It died on arrival.
It did.
Pretty much. But that's how crazy it is, and that's how crazy these things can change and everything. And like saying, Nintendo have lasted and lived without having the big Call of Duties and relying on FIFA and all like that. And if they can do it, Sony can do it. And I truly believe they'll be all right. There's no doubt about that.
100%. The only thing I would say is Nintendo have never been in a situation where they've had Call of Duty money coming into their platform. So it's a lot easier for them to do their own thing without worrying about the Call of Duty money disappearing, whereas PlayStation obviously have the Call of Duty money coming in. And if that disappears, that is going to fundamentally alter how they do business, basically.
No doubt about it, yeah.
Just buy Epic Games. That would be the only countenance they could have where it would just be like they get all of the fucking money. They'd have to buy Epic. Because how many IPs out there make as much money as COD?
I don't know if you saw a Hollywood Reporter article.
By the way, just as you're looking for this, I just want to say, this is what's fun. This is the fun part about being games industry observers. This is what we want to do more of. We want to speculate about fun stuff like this. Talk about how shit all the fucking companies are.
So, Hollywood Reporter put out this article. Will Hollywood's streaming ambitions lead to the big gaming buys? And, like, obviously they talk about the Microsoft snapping up Activision Blizzard. And then they obviously talk about Sony. What could Sony do if they could do anything? And F1 aims, and this article leads to, if they wanted to go for anybody, if they wanted to make a big purchase, it would be EA and everything like that. But then, which is funny enough, they come in and say, but if anyone's likely to buy EA, it's probably Disney.
Well, yeah, right. It's Disney.
Because Bobby Chapek, I'll say this: Bobby Chapek, he wants to get out of Bob Iger's shadow. Buying EA, that would be something and a half. Because Bob Iger was never the biggest fan of games. He was like,
I remember.
All time.
I never forgive.
Bob Iger.
Disney
Yeah.
closed LucasArts when they bought LucasArts and
Yeah.
like Lucasfilm, and I'll never forgive them for that.
Yeah. This
For
could
as
be the
long as
Bobby
I live.
Chapek thing. But we'll see what happens.
I do hold grudges.
You do.
I pissed off a lot of
it's-
people that day because I just put out a no context status update on social media, which was just fuck you, Disney. Turns
Yeah.
out a lot of my friends like Disney.
I love Disney.
What do you mean Disney is great? I was like, no, they're not. They just fucking killed one of my favorite game developers.
Well, but this is the thing, like I said, this purchase that Microsoft did only raised them from 4th to 5th in biggest earnings in the
Fifth to fourth.
in the industry. But it like Tencent is 29 billion. Sony is second with 24.4 billion. The purchase for Microsoft made them go third, and they raised their revenue up to 24 billion. Sony could get knocked out down to third in the next year or two.
Yeah, maybe. Again,
There's
like,
no doubt about that. But
this
we'll
is
see
going to
happens.
drive people towards the Xbox ecosystem, and that's what this is all
what they
about.
wanted to. Yeah. It's going to be fascinating.
I mean, I would rather no one buy any more companies because I quite like them all being separate. But we're here talking about what could happen, and this is unfortunately the future because capitalism. But like, yeah, like people are gonna buy Xboxes. It's like the anecdote I was talking about a little while ago to you on the podcast of even though like Xbox had that always online component where the console always had to be connected to the internet, and even though they backpedaled on that a few months later at E3, it was years before that filtered through to normal people, air quotes. Like
normal people.
People are going to hear, like casual gamers are going to hear that Xbox owns Call of Duty, and maybe they'll just shit. I better buy an Xbox.
Yeah, true. We'll see.
We'll see. We talked about this a lot. It's fun.
Yeah, it's going to be coming up
It's
a lot.
fun to talk about this kind of thing. It's a breath of fresh air after all the other shit we have to talk about. But anyway, we've got more news stories. One more. PlayStation VR 2 announced bringing eye tracking and Horizon's Aloy to the living room.
Oh, did you
Wasn't-
do a news story? Did you?
Wasn't Aloy and Horizon already available in the living room? Like that's where the PlayStation is, right? Like she's had her own game. Sorry. This is from Honest God over at Polygon, who writes, PlayStation VR 2 is the next virtual reality headset coming from Sony, and a VR adaptation of Guerrilla Games' acclaimed Horizon series is a launch title. Launch dates or windows for either product were not given. I imagine they'll be the same. PlayStation VR will use headset-based controller tracking, which abandons the need for PlayStation camera. The headset will use embedded cameras to reflect the wearer's movements and field of view in-game. Those will combine with headset feedback and 3D audio to amplify the in-world experience, Sony said. Quote, headset feedback is a new sensory feature that amplifies the sensations of in-game actions from player. Hideaki Nishino, the PlayStation executive in charge of platform experience, said in a blog post. It's created by a single built-in motor with vibrations that add an intelligent tactile element, end quote. As an example, Nishino said that players, quote, can feel a character's elevated pulse during tense moments or perceive objects whizzing by their heads. Additionally, PS5's Tempest 3D audio tech makes sounds in the player's surroundings come alive, adding to this new level of immersion, end quote. The eye tracking means that looking in a different direction without turning one's head, quote, can create an additional input for the game character. This allows players to interact more intuitively in new and lifelike ways, end quote. So, I used to own a PlayStation VR headset. I got one on launch day. I got fucking all the games for it. And that's not an exaggeration. And I fucking hated it and loved it at the same time.
You hated and loved it at the same time.
I hated it and loved it at the same time. Like, VR is fucking phenomenal. Like, and I love everything about it. But the play, and some of the games that, again, were only exclusive to PlayStation VR. At the time when it came out, so things like the Batman Arkham Experience, Riggs was a really fun game, and so was the Until Dawn VR game. Those are the three that really stick in my memory from launch, and of course Resident Evil 7, a game I played all the way through in VR, was fucking great. But like the experience of using PlayStation VR was bad because for whatever
Wires.
fucking reason, I could deal with the wires. Like don't get me wrong, I think a wireless VR headset is infinitely superior to a wired one, but I could deal with the wires. The problem was, for whatever reason, PlayStation decided to bolt their cool new VR headset to shitty old fucking PS3 designed Move controllers and a crap camera. And that was my hot take for years, where I was just like, they need to fucking get rid of the camera for starters, use onboard tracking, and change the fucking control. Those controllers, Moody, they were fucking terrible on PlayStation 3. Never mind trying to track your fucking hands in VR. Like, they were awful controllers. So, like, I'm glad that they're actually making proper controllers for this now. I just had to get that off my chest because PlayStation VR was great, but I hated every second I used that fucking thing. What's the most comfortable of the headsets?
It was definitely like a stage one. There's no doubt about it. You could see that. Like when you had to use the controllers that were from a PlayStation 3, for God's sakes, that's telling you everything about it. And there was obviously a way for them to make it as cheap as they could have for the time and everything. And respect to them for all that. I can understand why they did that, but now they knew when they came to the second one, they had to get when they saw that when the VR I don't know which one it was, I can't remember which one, but brought out a proper good handset.
Oh, the Vive. Yeah, I've used
the
that.
Vive.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I remember that. I was playing Star Trek Bridge Crew on PlayStation, and that was crossplay. And Russ had a Vive, and he was sat across the table because it was like a briefing table environment you sit in before missions, and he could literally move all his fucking fingers.
The one I've got, its handsets are brilliant as well. Like it's the VR is coming along really well, and it's doing a really good job for that, and I'm really enjoying it. And it's something that Sony needed to sort out. There's no doubt about it, getting this type of thing. So we all knew VR 2 was coming for PlayStation. This was something that was obviously coming. And I wasn't surprised to hear that they were intended to bring out a launch title game that was going to be one of their exclusives from one of their big studios. It was either, I won't lie, I was thinking it was either going to be Naughty Dog or Guerrilla Games or San Diego.
I always assumed
or Santa Monica.
Well, I mean, like San Diego made one of the best received PlayStation VR games. The Heist, London studio. Might have been. I can't remember. It was one. It was there was a cool one, first person shooter. I always assumed Guerrilla Games would do a Killzone thing. For VR, not because the IP was strong, but because a first person shooter in a good VR headset is a really strong selling proposition. Like there was this really not great game, Farpoint, but it came with that weird gun looking thing. I can't remember what it's called, and I got that. And, like, it wasn't a great game. But the act of using, and I said this in a review with Keith, but the act of using the AIM, it was called, the PlayStation AIM controller, was transcendent. It was like one of my top 5 gaming experiences. Because it was so cool. It wasn't a great game, but I'll never forget playing that game and being like, I've got a gun. I've actually got a fucking gun, and I'm on an alien planet, and there's aliens trying to kill me. This is fucking great. Oh my god. I'm so immersed. Ow, I just banged my head. Because I didn't have a big space to play VR in. I hate things a lot. It happened.
Like, this is obviously for me, I think this is early 2023. Probably drop early 2023.
They're not going to drop it in a holiday period. They're not going to drop it this year because it's too soon to.
Yeah,
they have to be able to sell PlayStation 5s first. Really,
that's true. So early 2023, I think. Could be a good slot for them. I think be out by the end of the financial year. So hopefully, maybe get the boost they're hoping they'll get. We'll see what happens. What do you think the price is going to be?
I don't know. I think it's obviously going to be more than the PlayStation VR, which was £349. But even then, the PSVR didn't come with Move controllers. You had to buy those separately. So
Like what is you can get the which is the one I have?
Quest.
Vive, the Quest. That's
Yeah.
£300.
It is. It depends. Well, it depends what they put in it, right? Because, like, this thing is getting according to rumors we've heard in the past about PSVR 2, and also this, when Nishino's talking about haptic feedback, right? The elevated pulse during tense moments, objects whizzing past your head. He's talking about haptic feedback, the stuff that's in the DualSense 5. That makes that one of the greatest controllers I've ever held in my entire life. But like, I mean, I don't know how cheap that is to put in a VR headset. Like, and it sounds amazing, right? Like, you imagine like you're in Horizon, whatever the fuck this thing's called. I don't know if it was in the actual thing or the Horizon VR. We'll call it Horizon VR. And like you're in a fight and like something shoots like a thing and it just goes and you dodge it and it goes past your head and you feel it across the headset as it whistles past you. VR is amazing, and like I really want the games to catch up with the tech because I think that was not just PlayStation VR's problem. I think that's just been a problem for VR in general. Like there's very few games that I would say like this is a must play because it's in VR. Like there's a handful of games like Beat Saber is a phenomenal experience. Star Trek Bridge Crew is one of the best times I've ever had, because it's in VR. But like
RE7, Alien Isolation,
Resident Evil 7, like I probably liked that game more than I otherwise would have because I was playing it in VR. Like Riggs, you could have played that in non-VR, and it was hard to play because it's a very fast-moving game. But like, I don't know what they would do. I think probably like $399, maybe pounds. Sorry, we're talking in pounds here. I should point out when I'm talking in dollars. If they can keep it at $350, that would be great. Like the thing, I think they need to emphasize more this time than they did last time is that PSVR isn't a peripheral; it's a platform. Like a lot of people would looked at the price of PSVR being at £350 and went, "That's a lot of money for a peripheral." And PlayStation didn't really point out this isn't a peripheral. This is an entirely new way to play games. It's an entire platform.
Yeah.
Because again, like Star Trek Bridge Crew, like Mooney, you would fucking love Star Trek Bridge Crew. You could sit on the bridge of a Star Trek starship and do shit. It's fucking great. Me, Russ, and Tom played the shit out of that game. You got the fucking Klingons coming in, like bam, 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 and like shit's going off everywhere, and like I'm flying the ship, and I've got all the controls in front of me, and Russ is sitting in the captain's chair, like giving all the orders out and stuff, and you're there, you're in it, in VR, and it's incredible. It's such an incredible experience.
That does sound awesome. The Horizon game is Horizon Call of the Mountain.
Horizon Call of the Mountain.
Yeah, so yeah, hopefully it's going to be something that's going to be like that's going to blow us away, and it's going to make us go VR. We're close to VR type of thing. Because I still think I even know when the PlayStation VR 2 comes out, I think we're still going to be that a little bit too far away to grab.
I think this is where the games come into play because I think the hardware, in terms of like PlayStation VR 2 using haptic feedback in the headset to really help immerse you in that world, and I think things like the Quest 2 being completely wireless, I think the technology is pretty much where it needs to be. I think now it's the games. The games have to be there. Like I picture, and again I'm going to go back to Bridge Crew. I picture like Star Trek Bridge Crew with things that they're talking about here and the haptic feedback and stuff, being able to feel it as well as just like hear it and see it. But yeah, like the only game I can think of in the last few years that has really hit the mark in terms of being a VR game is Half-Life Alyx. And that was created specifically to sell Index, the Valve's VR headset.
Yeah.
So like what I really hope doesn't happen is we have this big rush of awesome experiences on PSVR 2 and then it just fucking dies again. And people stop making games for it.
It obviously didn't die enough for them because they obviously made enough to think they can do a second one.
I mean, I really hope so.
they obviously see something there to be able to say, we got to go for it again to think we can do this. So, but yeah, for me that they make a third team for all their studios and say, you're the VR team and we need a VR title from you guys in top quality type of thing. And that's what I think. I'll be surprised if that's not something they've already talked about when it comes to their studios.
Yeah.
So
Hopefully. And also, someone make another Star Trek game for it, please. And
was it
thank
an
you.
Ubisoft game?
It was. That's why I said someone. Someone else. Someone else making a Star Trek game. I remember the Star Trek British group being announced and thinking, oh my God, are they going to start making Star Trek games again? And then they made that one game and then there were no Star Trek games for like 5 years. And I was like, what the fuck, man?
Trying to think who owns it. It's Paramount who owns it.
I
to, like,
believe
license?
so.
So
There's a Star Trek game coming out this year. It's like a Telltale style game.
yeah.
Still not the RPG Star Trek desperately deserves.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I've said that many times. I've said, why haven't we got a Mass Effect Star Trek game is beyond me yet. I'm still, like, baffles me.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully we'll see. We'll hopefully something
We
will
will.
come forward.
Like, yeah. No PlayStation camera, no move controllers. It's automatically going to be better. So there's that.
Time for the new tidbits.
Tidbits. I didn't... Look, I did this bit this morning. We can workshop the name. It's fine. We've got some bullet points for some things we might want to mention and talk about that happen in the news that don't require me to read story after story after story. And I'm just going to go through them and we'll just have a nice discussion. This has been a nice podcast. It's been a nice... I mean, I know we've talked about some shit at the top end, but this has been a nice way to come back to talking about the games industry.
The WAG bits. No.
Yeah, WAG is not a thing we want to... No, we don't want to embrace the acronym. Someone once said, you should call it the WAGcast. And I was like, no, absolutely not. You're fired. Get out.
And then I joined.
Wasn't Keith. All right, let's go through the tidbits. We'll it's going to be called that forever now, isn't it? AGDQ 2022 finished and raised $3.4 million for the Prevent Cancer Foundation, a new record total, and also got to $1 million faster than any previous GDQ. The next event is an all-woman Frost Fatales event on February 22nd, lasting until March 5th.
Fantastic. Congratulations being raising that much money, and we hope to see
oh god, yes,
raise even more.
The hype levels were off the charts when it went above $3 million. It was great. I haven't watched many speedruns. Like, I haven't gotten as... Like, I usually just, like, blow through them in a couple of weeks. But shout out to Mitriaz for doing Sekiro Shadows Die Twice in like 2 hours, blindfolded.
Wait, what?
Yep. So you'll notice, Moody. You'll notice.
I've noticed it.
Yeah.
I've seen you drop it in Discord.
There's a new channel in our Discord, and I've been dropping some shit in there. And yeah, Mitriaz Shadows Sekiro, one of the hardest fucking games ever. Blindfolded. Fucking yeah. All right, no worries. But yeah, congrats to the event. $3.4 million is a fantastic amount of money, and the Prevent Cancer Foundation is a fantastic cause. And I'm looking forward to the next event in like less than a month. And I'll be talking about all the cool speedruns I find over the next few weeks. The next 2 bullet points, you probably put those together.
Yeah.
I probably should have. I was reading them together. Halo Infinite has had 20 million players since launch, which is the biggest launch in the series' history. And Forza Horizon 5 has had 18 million players since launch. That's a lot of players.
Congratulations. Like, yeah, Forza Horizon 5 like wasn't for me or anything like that, and I'm like still waiting for the co-op to join Halo Infinite for like you and me to smash the co-op and the campaign and everything. But yeah, congratulations. Like the delay in Halo has obviously been the biggest success ever. And Horizon 5, we always knew was going to be something special for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that's fantastic to hear. So, the Xbox, forget about what they bought. They've been making moves for a long time when it comes to just games in general. And, we've been seeing it. They've got a lot on the slate, and like it's going to be fascinating to see what they got this year.
E3, and I'm using air quotes, is going to be pretty spicy.
I think so. Yeah, I think they've got something. They're ready. I think they're ready. Like to say.
I just realized I skipped a news story, so we're just gonna.
I even said, are we skipping that news story?
Totally did not mean to do that. That was an accident.
All right.
I'm just adding a bullet point really quickly. Certain Affinity, which is a co-developer on Halo Infinite, is reportedly developing a Monster Hunter style co-op game for Xbox.
Not surprised whatsoever. The Xbox would want to try and get this type of thing. Right now, Monster Hunter is very much affiliated towards like more Sony, Nintendo-ish. For them to come out and just say, "Yo, well, we're just getting exclusive when we just get it made for us. Go for it."
Oh, you want to keep Monster Hunter, Sony? We'll just make our own Monster Hunter.
Basically, yeah. If that's what Sony decided to do, to say, "Yeah, we're gonna lock down as many exclusives as we can," and then Microsoft said, "Fine, we'll just buy."
Well, maybe that's what's happening.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I think there's a chance that's happening.
I love it. I love Monster Hunter. Like if Xbox can give me another Monster Hunter style game and it's good, brilliant. I have two.
Yeah, there's no doubt about. Like, I truly believe we're gonna hear of the next Monster Hunter this year, like Monster Hunter 5. I think for me that's a lock. When it comes to Capcom, I think they're ready to like show that, and it'll probably be early next year, probably.
Monster Hunter Universe, right? You go Monster Hunter World, the Monster Hunter Universe.
Oh god! Well, that means they need
Monster Hunter Multiverse. It's just like
they need to sort out their fucking multiplayer then.
They won't. They won't. I wish they would. This will be the one that the Certain Affinity's Monster Hunter style game for Xbox will be the one that gets me and you playing it the most because it'll just have fucking multiplayer that makes fucking sense. We got 2 Resident Evils here. Resident Evil Village has sold 5 million copies up to December 31st, 2021. And Resident Evil 7 is still selling. It's past 10 million copies sold up to December 31st, 2021.
Yeah, fantastic. Like, we both love the Resident Evil franchise in general, but we loved Resident Evil 7 and Village. Resident Evil Village was in both ours?
It was in both ours, yeah, it was in mine.
Yeah. Both our top 20 of the year, so...
Village was a weird one where I was pretty harsh on it when we reviewed it.
Yeah.
But, like...
Understandable. Like, there were parts, like, it's just like, why?
But, like, it coming out when it did earlier in 2021, like, it gave me time to sit with it throughout the year and just be like, you know what, actually... Like, that was my entire thought process. I was like, you know what, actually, that's fucking good. That's pretty good. I mean, it was dumb as fuck, but it was really good.
But that's the franchise, though, isn't it?
That is the franchise.
The franchise is literally
But it's... I think it stopped taking itself seriously because I think it did try to take itself seriously, and Village it just stopped, it just gave up.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, here's a giant vampire dominatrix for people to thirst over. Oh, you thought that was extra? Just wait till you see how fucking Metal Gear Solid level. Anyway, oh man. Epic Games will keep giving away free games every week in 2022. They added like something like 38 million extra users as well last year.
It's slowly coming along when it comes to its app and everything. It's like
it's got a basket
why it took
now.
Forever. Yeah, I was gonna say why it took forever to make a basket is freaking beyond me, but either way. Epic, like, they're gonna keep on going, even though they've said they ain't gonna start making money on this until like what 2025, 2026 or something like that. I think they've said.
That, yeah, like
so.
What we always said when because a few different companies launched competitors to Steam back in the day. Well, back in the day, it was only a few years ago. Epic and Discord, and there was another one. I'm pretty sure, and it was like you need to compete with Steam, right? You need Epic Games levels of money. To get that going. They were the ones I always thought were going to manage to like stick And they did. They have. I use Epic just as much as I use Steam. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah.
I do. Do I think exclusivity on storefronts is bad? I mean, I guess, but also like I can just install both apps on my computer.
It doesn't make a difference to me because
It doesn't make a difference, right? It's
what-
not like I need to go out and buy another console to play
that's
an
what I'm
Epic
saying. Yeah, yeah.
So I've never
It's
seen a big
actually is
problem.
less harsh than Sony and Microsoft exclusivities,
Right? Like if I didn't have a fucking PlayStation 5 or 4 or a PlayStation at all, right? I couldn't play Horizon in a couple of weeks. That's definitely worse than just having to install the Epic Games Store app.
Well, I can play it, but I just don't know if I want to play it on my PlayStation
I wouldn't
4.
risk it. In that small room with all that wood I can see and all the posters and stuff, like that's just gonna go up. The fire will be quick. There's a lot of accelerant in there.
I did say if I turn it on and I put Horizon 2 in there, you'll hear it flying off from where you are.
I'll just be sitting there playing like fucking something. And then
You've been playing Horizon on your PlayStation 5.
the fuck was that?
Ring, 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 ring. Hey,
No, you'll hit Discord. You'll be like, I'll be like, Moody's calling me on Discord. That's where it'll hit the button. It'll just be a big fucking hole behind you, and you'll just be like in like Looney Tunes, covered in like black suit, and from the explosion, just like your hair, like your hair just like
something happened.
glasses hanging down one ear. I tried to play Horizon, Amy. He blew up. I didn't. Stepped into the open world and my PlayStation exploded.
The world was too powerful.
It was the grass. The grass was rendered too well. Individual strands of grass. Oh dear. We've got another couple here. Sega is selling all of its arcades and leaving the business entirely. This is quite sad because this is where they started, obviously. And Sega arcades in Japan are like a staple of Japan. I was trying to like think of of Japan. So like they're not going to be Sega arcades anymore.
That is a shame. But I'm guessing they've realized they aren't making any money out of it. So
COVID in it, like I imagine, was a big driver of people not going to arcades.
Yeah. Can't social distance at arcades.
I mean, everyone's touching the stuff, right? Like it's the same reason I didn't want to go to
You'll
EGX
have to hire
last
a
year.
person to stand next to the game, so wait until someone finishes, and then they have to quickly clean it to allow anyone else in it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I hope the Sega arcades I hope they still exist in Yakuza games. It's like a spiritual thing, right?
Yeah.
Last tidbit. That was meant to be a news story, but I kind of skipped it by accident. My bad. E3 is going to be online only in 2022. It's been announced due to ongoing health risks surrounding COVID-19.
So when do we say E3's dead?
I guess when they stop doing it, like for real.
I guess, but it's like I'll just say this right now. Like, I know we're very mixed on Jeff Keighley in general, but at the end of the day, E3 just freaking just speak to him and just say, "Yo, just combine the thing together and just do that," because at the end of the day, you're practically dead. Like the thing you did last year, unless you completely change it, all I heard from people who are the podcast I listen to, the things they did last year was an abomination and an insult. Apparently, like the things they did when it came to like the VIP or IP thingy, people who came to like the look online and everything like that was apparently terrible and crap.
And that makes sense. I can see that. Like, I don't want it to be dead. Obviously, like E3 is been a big deal for a long time. I just want them to sort it out. Like, there's a way to do E3 online only, and arguably, like in like 35 years when we're finally over this pandemic, and people can go and do these kinds of things again, like in person. Like, does it need to be an in-person event? It doesn't. Like, content creators and journalists and everything, they're all over the world. The internet exists. This is doable as an online event to just the same kind of hype levels as E3 has been in the past. Is it dead? I mean, if it disappeared, would anyone notice? Like, if E3 just did not happen in 2022.
It's been practically gone the last 2 years anyway, hasn't it?
Yeah, like,
no,
it
I
helped.
don't think anyone would really pay attention because Jeff Keighley would just do his thing and everyone would
And
just think that's the
even,
new E3.
yeah, and even Jeff Keighley admitted after 2020, spreading everything out over 4 months was way too much and condensed a ton of it into one space. I think that the experiment in 2020 where everybody just did their own shit all fucking summer and it lasted 4 months and everybody got fucking burned out on it, I think everybody realized that was a bad idea. And most of the companies that do stuff around E3 time pushed it together and into summer, because I think even if you have an E3 or not have an E3, I think having a dedicated section of time sometime in the year where all of this stuff can happen all at once is valuable, because you make that big impact, right? Like, the smallest games can make the biggest impacts because it's all happening when everybody's watching.
True. We'll see what happens at the end of the day. Like, I think it's like, I do hope they get it all together and they get it all sorted and everything. So we'll see what happens.
I mean, the ESA, we talked about the ESA that runs E3 a couple of times over the last couple of years. Their management needs to sort themselves out because they're making really terrible decisions. But we shall see. I'm trying to like drag that out because it's time for games out this week. And Mooney doesn't have his headset in. Hello.
Sorry.
That's okay. It was like, it's time for games out this week. Uh-oh. Panic.
I'm here. Games out this week, ladies and gentlemen, and you've only got two. The Waylanders coming to PC. Slip the bonds of fate in this party-based RPG filled with Celtic myths and historical legend. Discover thrilling adventures alongside mortal companions and immortal allies as you explore the world of the Waylanders. And lastly, the biggest game of this week, I would say it is, when it comes to least notoriety, Dying Light 2 Stay Human, PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. The virus won and civilization has fallen back to the Dark Ages. The city, one of the last human settlements, is on the brink of collapse. Use your ability and combat skills to survive and reshape the world. Your choices matter.
Cool. I'm probably not going to play a Dying Light 2.
I'm not either. I won't lie.
I'm just not in the mood for it right now. Like, I took stock of whether I actually wanted to play it or not, and I was just like, I'm just not, like, it's not that I'm looking at the game going, oh, I don't think that game's going to be very good. I'm looking at the game going, I do not have the energy for you right now. What energy I do have for an open world game, I'm trying to save for a few weeks later. Because, Elden Ring's happening. And like you said to me, I don't know if this was on a stream or if it was in private. I am literally in a mode where I'm just waiting for Elden Ring. And I feel like that's when, for me, that's when 2022 from video game perspective is going to start, when I have my hands on Elden Ring. Because that's the game I'm most that's the game that's going to reignite me and I'm off. And I probably just pissed off a lot of Horizon fans. But don't I get to Horizon as well? Don't worry. I like Horizon. Fine.
She will. She'll get to
games. You've seen Moody talks about how many games I play all the time.
Wait, I complain?
I changed what I was saying.
Oh.
Talks about. I was like, complain. No, wait, that's not the right word. Talks about. Anyway, It's time for OpenCritic head-to-head. It's back. This is the game, myself, Moody, and if we have any, it was, but we don't have any results. Now we have results. It's off. There's a scoreboard. I deleted all the things that said Amy won that have been there for weeks. Anyway, it's time for OpenCritic head-to-head. This is the game myself, Moody, and any guests that we have play every week where we try to guess the OpenCritic average of one upcoming game. Whoever gets closest to the score gets a point. And if you manage to guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. It's dead simple. Last week, we tried to guess the OpenCritic average of Pokemon Legends Arceus. Moody's not very happy. I guessed it would get an 88. Moody guessed it would get an 85. And at the time of recording, Pokemon Legends Arceus has an OpenCritic average of 84, which gives Moody 1 point and makes the current scores.
85 yesterday.
I know, it was 85 all week. And then I logged on today and I was like,
bastard.
Ooh, who was it? Who did this?
Yeah, I kind of want to hunt them down and give him a talk. And
puts the current scores
until the next day.
Puts the current scores at Moody 1, and that's it because we've only done this once so far in 2022. This week, we're going to try and guess the OpenCritic average of Dying Light 2 Stay Human. What are we thinking?
80.
God damn it. That's what I was going to say.
Okay, I'll go 81 then.
Okay. I mean, I was prepared to go 79, so that works. Works for me. Sure you don't want 80 back?
No.
You'll notice I've changed the dock and taken the highlight stuff out finally. It only took me like 2 years.
I'm not on the dock, so like I said, I transferred it, so I can just have the darkness on.
All right, the darkness. Actually, yeah. Wow, you. Wait, go back to the Word doc. Okay, no, it's fine. I thought you'd lit me up even more there. I was like, well, hang on, but it's just
stay so.
Tiny little bit, tiny
little
bit, but it's
a tiny bit.
Yeah. Tiniest. I was like, are you lighting me up? Like you just turn all my lights off and just let you fucking open Google. Oh man. We're also gonna do Fantasy Critic check-ins from time to time at the end of the podcast because we did the Fantasy Critic as a podcast episode this year, so it makes sense to just check in with it every now and again. Nothing's really happened. Moody has 14 points.
So something has happened.
Moody has it's one game has come out, Moody.
I'm leading.
All right.
Still leading.
Are you sure you're going to do this? Looking at all of the games coming out before your next game, are you sure you want to do this right now?
I'm all right.
Okay, fine. That's fine. See you in a few weeks when you're not leading. Yeah. So
I don't want to talk about it then.
Anyway, exactly. But I will. Anyway, as I was saying,
it's too bright, man. It's too bright.
As I was saying, nothing much has happened. Pokemon has come out, so Moody has 14 points. If you'd let me finish. But a lot of games have been purchased.
Have they?
Yeah. You didn't go on last week, did you?
Yeah, no, yeah.
I checked the bids. I would check the bids because I was like, oh, I wonder if anyone's bid on any games. And I forgot to do it the week before, like to see how it all shook out, right? And I went on and fucking there's this huge list of games, and I was like, I've been on one, so what the fuck's going on? Turns out Elfie's just buying games left and right.
She really is.
She's
just throwing away our money.
If you go, well, she doesn't like. At least she didn't spend $25 on a game this time. So yeah. So we haven't done an update since we actually did the episode a couple of weeks ago.
I hope Joe doesn't forget about this.
I'm gonna make sure he doesn't. Don't worry. He did buy a game, to be fair.
Yeah.
If you want to see like what our lists and what games we have on our lists, maybe one day when we've done a podcast in like 90 minutes, I'll go through it all properly. But right now, just go back and watch the old episode. For right now, I'm just going to talk about the games that we've all bought, and I'm going to do it in order of draft order, I guess, because that's the order the games are. So, Elfie's bought 3 games so far. So we all have 10 slots that we have to fill by the end of 2022. And Elfie's off. She's gone. She's away. Yes.
Hasn't she bought 4?
No.
Setsuna Hellblade 2.
Yeah, but she's bought 4 because
Redfall,
she
Sea-
dropped
Sea of-
Hogwarts.
Yeah.
She dropped Transphobia Legacy, and I'm not sure that was the smartest idea, but she's done it.
Well, it's probably going to get delayed till next year. So
Yeah, but there's now a new report saying it's coming out in September. So who fucking knows? You don't trust game journalists with this information, really. Game journalists were
I didn't
convinced.
hear anything about that article. So.
Game journalists were convinced the Switch Pro was going to be announced last year.
That's true. Like, yeah.
I never trust them. That's obviously hyperbole. Obviously, please, no one take that statement seriously. Yeah, sorry, she's bought 4 games. It put it in the slot where bigotry, I don't know, think of another funny, clever name for Harry Potter shit. So I missed it. Yes, she's bought 4 games: Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, Redfall, Sea of Stars, and Martha is Dead. One of those games is coming out next month, so I think that's probably solid. One of those games probably ain't coming out this year, but if it does, it'll get a lot of good scores, I think.
Mm.
See, the best part about this is, Moody, we get to review everyone else's purchases, and they're not here. And Redfall, I'm looking forward to it, but I when we were drafting, I put Redfall in the category of Amy's looking forward to this game, but Amy doesn't trust the game critics to give it a high score.
Oh, it'll be like the back for blood number, I think.
Yeah.
Like, what was that, 70 or something?
79, 80-ish. I think it might have gone down a little bit, but it was around about that number. And Sea of Stars is winter 2022, so I didn't trust that game to come out. Because delays happen and COVID happened.
I also think that's a game that might not get enough reviews on OpenCritic.
Oh, it'll definitely get enough reviews because The Messenger their previous was a...
Oh yes, Meg. Yeah, right.
Was a breakthrough indie game, I guess you would call it. So I think it'll review well. I just don't know if it'll hit this year. Joe Medforce as Nintendo only bought River City Girls 2. Which I hadn't thought to like even add to my list. Apparently it's coming out summer 2022. It's definitely sticking with the Nintendo theme because that was a direct announced game.
Yeah, I think like I've already stated like many occasions, I truly believe there's going to be another Pokemon game, and whenever that's even hinted at or at least announced and it's coming this year, like I thought me and Joe are going to be fighting for that. And it's going to see who outbids each other.
And then I'm just going to stroll in.
Yeah. Boom.
Be like, here's all my money. What else do we have? Can't do any worse than last time. Loxtail bought Choo Choo Charles, which was a game he was thinking about drafting. And then I guess he just went out and bought it afterwards. Like, it looks interesting. Like, I'm interested in the game. Like, whenever it comes out, which is Q1 2022 estimate. Just going off what it says on OpenCritic. It's a scary train that chases you while you're on a train and you have to upgrade your stuff. Could be cool. Looks like, and I don't mean this in a derogatory term, but it looks like Stream a bit. Like, it looks like a game that can hit on Twitch because you get a lot of cool reactions out of it. Numbing Inevitability, which is Keith, bought another Devolver Digital game. Apparently, buying Devolver Digital games is the numbing inevitability he was referring to.
He should just call himself Devolver Digital.
Devolver Digital. Like some kind of funny Revolver Digital. That's what I should have called himself. Yeah, he got Shadow Warrior 3, and then he went... And I was wondering who did this, because I saw this bid come up. Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. Like, I don't know what to think about that game, because I played the demo tech test, whatever, and I did not like it.
And to what I hit all on purposes, I don't think a lot of people like. I think people some did, but also some like. I think it was very mixed. So
yeah, so like even before like someone bought it on OpenCritic, I was fascinated to see where the critical consensus is gonna land on this game because it's made by the guys who made Neo. Neo is a fantastic game, and so is Neo 2, and they were both really well reviewed on OpenCritic. So it's gonna be fascinating to see where that ends up. But I wasn't putting my money where Make my mouth fist with that one because all I could
I
remember
wasn't
is
with him.
that stream where I was like, I definitely did not get on well with that game. Next up is me. 88 is great actually, and I bought Ollie World. Because I think it's going to be a solid game. And people seem excited for it. Saw a few previews. And I was like, I bet no one thinks to buy this game. Moody, you got Shovel Knight Dig, you bastard. Why didn't I remember Shovel Knight Dig was a thing? Fuck you. I love Shovel Knight. There's a Shovel Knight amiibo somewhere back there. Spectre Knight, you bastard. How dare you?
Yeah.
I feel betrayed.
There's no date to it yet. It just says 2022, so we'll see what happens with that.
It's a good pickup. I think it's a good pick. I think it's a solid pickup.
I think it is. Yeah, I think it's a solid one. Yeah,
I think you've done good there. It also looks like
I proved last year that I do some shrewd businesses.
You do, and just because I thought it would be funny. Elfie also counterpicked Choo Choo Charles. Because we all have a counterpick we have to do at some point through the year, and she's counterpicked Choo Choo Charles, and she also tried to get Final Fantasy Origin, but Keith bid $15 on it. That's a lot of money.
Like I don't know what I've spent on. What did I spend on? I only spent like $1, I think, on Dungeons.
Dig. You spent $5.
$5. Yeah.
$5.
Okay.
Yeah, I spent $6 on Ollie because I thought if anyone sees it and tries to bid it, they'll bid $5. That was my reasoning. So I went one up. That's the thing. You get in your head because everybody can see what games have been bid on. They can't see who's bid on them or what they've bid, but you can see the list.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating psychological element.
Yeah. It's going to be a fascinating thing. Like I don't know what my next bid's going to be or anything like that. Like, I haven't even really thought about it. Because I think there's still too many unknowns out there when it comes to games. So
that was one of the other reasons I went for Ollie World. Because it's coming out in February.
Yeah. Like, I'll say it right now. Like, I don't think Suicide Squad games come out this year. I truly believe that's going to be next year. And we don't know anything. We haven't heard anything for a while when it comes to Gotham Knights. So
again, they insisted not that long ago. It was like a couple of days ago that it's a 2022 game. But like, obviously, take that with
and like a lot of people, and a lot of people are coming out and I think is it EA or people are reporting that EA aiming to get Jedi Fallen 2 out this year.
I hope so. Not for Fantasy Critic, for me playing it.
Yeah, I would love that too. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to stay away from unknowns because like my team has Mario Kart, The Last of Us Remake, and Hollow Knight Silksong, so I'm like trying to stay away from like games that don't have release dates at the moment. Because that just seems like a bad idea for me.
For now it is, yeah. Like we don't even know if Forza Motorsport's this year.
No.
But if that is this year, that's somewhat we're going in there.
The next big showcase, whatever it is, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo. Maybe not Nintendo. Just purely because I think they already a lot of Nintendo games have already gone in this game. But I feel like if the next PlayStation or Xbox showcase, I think it's going to cause a flurry of activity.
I don't think Xbox is going to do anything until June.
Yeah, June's going to be.
So if I was, would you say PlayStation say you got to do something earlier?
March, April. I reckon we'll get something March, April. Maybe May. Like we'll get something before June. Historically, they've done that. Nintendo, any minute now. Generally speaking, they're due a direct, usually around about now. So, Xbox could go so many different ways with what they could announce. And I mean, E3 nearly saved my season last year when I managed to get Metroid and Forza. So, like, it's a big thing. It can change a lot, especially with as many people as we've got in the game now. But anyway, that's going to do it for episode 190, not 200, Jesus. Wait, episode 2. What the fuck episode number is it?
200, isn't it?
Why did I think we were still in the hundreds? Episode 290 of the Words About Games podcast. Thank you. I just traveled back 100 episodes in time.
You're welcome.
Thank you for watching, if you've been watching. We hope you've enjoyed the new, slightly modified format of the podcast. We'll be trying it out.
Google, man. Seriously, dark modes.
Doing
dark
stuff.
Modes.
While Moody blinds himself. But we're going to get out of here now. So thank you very much for watching. If you've watched, thanks for coming on this journey with us. And hopefully 2022 won't beat the shit out of us quite so much as 2021 did in terms of video games. So all that's left to say is, say bye, Moody.
Bye.
Bye. Peace.